Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the 68th Annual YMCA Youth in Government Conference. We're looking forward to a great week full of debate, laughter, tears, legislative triumph, and budgetary heartbreak. We're so glad that you all could join us virtually in your own homes. We just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about some conference features and the use of the conference app. To begin, you should have an email in your inbox that looks exactly like this one, except instead of my name right here, you're going to have your own. The subject line is YIG App 2021, so make sure you can find that email. If you can't, send Elise or I an email. Our emails are on the TennesseeCCE.org website, and we'll go ahead and get you hooked up with the app. The app contains all your Zoom links for the conference, as well as all the content related to the conference, and it's going to be crucial for successful navigation of the conference weekend. So make sure to get this figured out well in advance of the conference. The email contains instructions that walk you through how to set the app up on your phone and on your web browser. We definitely recommend using the web version of the app during the conference, as that's kind of the easiest way to navigate it and your Zoom windows at the same time. To open it on your web browser, just click this Log Into App button right here. That is going to, and hold on to your seats for this one, log you into the app on your web browser. It's going to pull up a thing that looks exactly like this once you agree to our lengthy code of conduct. This is the app home screen. It contains a little bit of information about the event, as well as some reminders down here in case you're completely lost. But let's talk about the different things that you can do with the app. First of all, you'll notice the date up top. This is super helpful in case you forget what time it is or what you are doing. You've got your account name right here. This is going to let you edit your profile if you want to include any extra information about your bill or your legislative goals, as well as upload a profile picture that can make it easier for conference attendees to find you. Up here you got notifications. Every time a notification gets pushed during the conference, it's going to appear right here. So check this for reminders about elections or the posting of different dockets and things like this. From the home page of the app, you'll see this sidebar that's going to stay in place as you navigate around the app. Use the event guide to get to the different places you need to go. We'll go ahead and start with the schedule. The schedule contains all of the conference sessions, and this is also where the Zoom links are housed. So navigating the schedule is going to be crucial throughout the weekend. I'll point out that the schedule automatically adjusts to the time zone that your computer is in. You can see I'm in Central Standard Time, so all the times it's showing me are going to be in Central Standard Time. By default, you can see every conference session here, as well as the different times they start. But if you want a more granular view, you can also search through for different things. So if we're looking for Supreme Court, we can find all the Supreme Court sessions by searching that. You can also use this filter button and filter by the tag of the component you're in. By clicking this little plus, you can also add things to your schedule, which you can find over here in the My Items part of the event guide sidebar. Of course, finding your event is only half the battle, so once you find the session you want to join, just click on it to get more information. It's going to pop up some additional controls you can use to add this to your schedule or bookmark a session. The description for each session contains the meeting ID and passcode, in case you need to use that manually to join the Zoom meeting. But in most cases, you're going to be able to get in just by clicking this red button right here. This should launch the Zoom meeting and automatically fill in the meeting ID and passcode for you. So one click should be enough to get you into any Zoom session that you need to go to. They are different for each session, so make sure that you're always selecting the session that is in the right time slot. Next, you'll see the YIG help form. This is sort of the bat signal for our CCE team, so if you need any sort of conference troubleshooting throughout the weekend, you're having trouble getting into a session, or your internet is acting weird or anything like that, you can just use that YIG help form, and that will be the quickest way to alert a member of our team that you need assistance, and we'll email you back as quick as we can. Also, from the event guide sidebar, you're going to be able to access the delegates. This is a fully filtered, searchable list of all the conference delegates sorted by component and school. So If you're looking for some collaborators for dynamic legislation, you'll be able to find them here. Clicking on someone's specific profile is going to show you their bill number and give you options to take notes, to message them, or to add a contact if you want to collaborate on legislation but don't have another way of communicating. The conference book is also on the app, so you can click this YIG conference book. We've got a link to a constantly updated online version of the book as well as a PDF of it if you prefer to do things that way. You can navigate whichever one you like, and it's going to be updated at specific times with all the new dynamic legislation and things that get added throughout the conference weekend. We've got a button over here for every component. This is where you're going to access all the content related to that component. So if we click GovCab, we can see all the members, the packets, the budget proposals, and the bills signed into law from the GovCab. Those of you in the House of Representatives will use this to find your House committees, the dockets for each one, as well as a smaller PDF that contains only the bills that are going to be debated in that committee. This is also where you'll access things like dynamic legislation and the intent speaker list when those get posted. YIG officers and elections is going to be your one-stop shop for information about this year's officers, as well as those striving to hold those offices next year. You can find a current list, the ballot, and then Saturday, once voting is active, the voting link will be live via this section of the app. Social media down here contains all of the Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook handles that you will need to follow the Center for Civic Engagement on social media, something I highly recommend doing, both during and after the conference. The Tomfoolery Committee icon is also going to contain all the information about the Tomfoolery Committee that's going to be held at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Saturday night of the conference. This is always a super fun event, so I encourage everyone to get involved in some way, either by submitting legislation or coming with your hottest takes. The YIG merch icon is going to let you access our conference store where you can purchase shirts, sweatshirts, graduation cords, stickers, and the commemorative book once that is made available. For those of you in the legislature, you're going to spend most of committee filling out a committee ranking worksheet, which you can find in the House and Senate sections of the app. I'll go ahead and show you what that committee ranking worksheet looks like. Once you download it, it's going to look just like this. I highly recommend opening it on Excel if you can, as that's the program that formats it best. But if it's not working for you, you can always keep track of the same things via paper or another method. Now, only one person from your bill team needs to stay on top of this, although you should all collaborate together on your rankings. Up top here, you can fill in the names of everybody in your bill team. You can put your bill number. So let's say, and then down here you can choose your committee, House 1 through 4 or Senate 1 through 3. Clicking that is going to bring up all the bills that are in that committee over here on the side for you. And then you can click anywhere within this table right here to fill out your ranking for each bill. After every bill, you're going to be asked to rank it on 5 categories. Those 5 categories: innovation, feasibility, statewide impact, content and research, and presentation are explained right here. There's instructions up top and then a further explanation of each ranking criteria below. You'll put a number between 1 and 5 in each of these boxes. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. So let's say we just heard a really good bill here. You might rank it kind of like this. The sheet will automatically tabulate the totals for you and display it over here. So the total for this first bill that we heard is 8. And then you can move on and rank the second, third, fourth, etc. At the end of all this, you're going to be asked to transfer those totals to a Google form that, again, only one member of your team needs to fill out. Lastly, I'm sure that most of you are far more familiar with Zoom than you care to be, but I want to quickly go over a couple of features that may be unique to our conference. First, I highly recommend that you log into Zoom using the email address that you registered for the conference with. We have already sorted every conference session automatically with those emails, so the second you enter a session, we will be able to automatically sort everybody who's logged in, and then we'll have to manually sort those of you who are not. It's totally fine if you're not able to or that email address doesn't allow a Zoom account. But if you can log in, it makes the sorting process just a little bit quicker for our team. Down here on the bottom left is your mute and unmute controls. Now at our conference, we ask you to stay muted until you are recognized, at which point we encourage you to unmute yourself by clicking this unmute button. You'll tell that you're unmuted because the red dash will disappear, and you'll see the green in the microphone bouncing around indicating that the computer is picking up your audio. If you're ever having audio troubles throughout the weekend, you can hit this arrow right to the side of the microphone and select test speaker and microphone, and that's going to fix most of the issues that you're having. Down here, similarly, you can see the start and stop video controls. Now, you don't need to have your video on for the entire conference, although we encourage it. It helps cultivate a better debate environment. But definitely turn your video off if you leave the room or are gone from the computer screen for any amount of time, and that'll cut down on distraction for your fellow delegates. By clicking the Participants button down here, you can pull up the Participants sidebar. This is going to list everybody that's in the meeting, should be alphabetically. When you see your name and hover over it, you'll have another option to mute and unmute yourself, and then this More button will let you rename yourself. We do ask that everybody name themselves according to conference convention, which is to start with your component, H for House, S for Senate, GC for GovCap, SC for Supreme Court, P for Press, and L for Lobbyists, a dash, your full name, a dash, and the high school that you attend. You can make that renaming official just by clicking the rename button, and you should see your new name populate up here. There are certain sessions you might log into where we ask you to name yourselves differently. So just go ahead and listen for instructions as soon as you enter each session in case you need to change your name. At the bottom of the participant sidebar, you'll see a bunch of nonverbal feedback controls. Most important for our conference is the raise hand button. When you click it, a little blue hand icon will appear next to your name. It'll also appear in the top left of your participant window. This will indicate to our officers that you wish to be recognized, either because you have a technical question or wish to weigh in on Con-Pro debate. As long as your hand is raised, our officers will assume that you would like to be recognized to speak. So if somebody addresses your point or your question gets asked, you can go ahead and lower your hand by just clicking that button again, and it will take it down so they know not to call on you. Down here you'll also find all your other nonverbal feedback controls, yes, no, go slower and go faster, which we use for motion. So if you'd like to indicate that you have a motion to make, hit that go faster button. That differentiates you from everybody who's trying to speak on technical questions, and we'll make sure our officers can recognize you to make your motion. Finally, many sessions are sorted into smaller breakout rooms. So the system will automatically ask you to join a breakout room when you're assigned, but if you ever need to do that manually, look for this series of 4 small squares down here, the breakout room icon. Clicking Join Breakout Room will show you the room that you're assigned to and let you join it. If you don't see that when you pop into a meeting, just hang tight for a second. It means our team needs to sort you. So just make sure that your name matches whatever our team is asking you to change it to, and sit tight. We'll get you sorted as quick as we can.